So if you're anything like me and your sewing space can feel a little chaotic, and that chaos can really affect your creativity as well. I know because I've been there, done that, got several awards for it as well. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys the things I did to reorganize my sewing space, get it so fresh and so clean, and how you can too. So if that's some content you would like to see, please continue to watch. Let's dive into the first step. I'm going to be giving you a few steps, to be honest with you. I'm going to be giving you 2 things that I did to reorganize my sewing space. So let's dive into the first one of reorganizing my sewing space. So the first step that really helped me get my sojo back is reorganizing my sewing space. Now, I know this might not sound all that exciting whatsoever, but believe me, it's a game changer for sure in itself. So a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind, okay? So when my workspace was a mess, just the thought of even starting a new project, it felt overwhelming for sure. So I walked into the room and think, where in the hell do I even begin? Do I begin with cleaning the floor? Do I begin with organizing my sewing tools? Do I begin with wiping this freaking table down? Do I begin with wiping the sewing machine down? And then the light bulb kicked on and was like, just get it done, okay? So that's what I did. So the first thing I did, of course, was to tackle the mess on the table. So that's what I did, and I'm gonna share that with you guys right now. So one of the best places to start is by decluttering your space. Take a good look at what you've got laying around. I had tons of patterns and fabric to sew for future projects that were not cut out. It was just, taking up space, of course. So things I started thinking of months ago, back in spring, summer, and didn't touch because it's pretty much no longer spring and summer. So I'm no longer inspired to sew those items at all. So some of them I knew I wanted to sew, but my schedule got so hectic and didn't get to start and finish them. So I had to ask myself, am I realistically going to get back to this? And if the answer was no, it went into the put back in drawer pile, or sew in the next 3 months pile. So I created 2 piles. One was put back in the drawer. The other one was, will I be able to sew this in the next 3 months? Because each season is pretty much 3 months. And that's what I went with. So I'm going to share with you guys how I organize those 2 piles. So let's talk about it. Trust me, letting go of old projects and creating new ones can feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders. You're clearing the way for new ideas and projects that you're actually excited about. So it's like hitting the reset button on creativity and sewing spaces for sure. So after decluttering all the stuff on my table, I moved on to organizing my tools. So I made sure everything had its place: your scissors, your sewing feet, your threads. All of these things need a home. The table is not the home, okay? So I put all my thread back on my thread holders, my scissors back where it needed to go, my patterns back where that needed to go, and then reorganize my fabric and put those back where it needed to go. Now, before I spent so much time just looking for the right tools, now it's all in one spot, and I can get straight to work when I sit down to sew. So I've got my thread organized by colors, as you can see, my patterns back in the drawer, and my fabric neatly folded and stacked for sure. That alone saved me so much frustrations as well. So next, I made sure my workspace was functional. So I rearranged, my ironing board where I iron, my ironing station. I definitely rearranged some of my thread. I definitely took another sewing machine from behind me and moved that to the floor. I have several sewing machines in my sewing studio. So now I only have 2 machines here. I definitely switched out the thread because color does spark your creativity. A lot of people don't know that the colors that you choose can spark your creativity. I was working with yellow for a while, and got so uninspired to work with yellow. So I switched colors, and guess what happened? Just by me switching the color, it definitely made me want to sew again as well. So let's talk about it. So a couple of things that I would definitely say is, now that I have like everything back in place, it's really important to have a smooth workflow when you're sewing. So you don't want to keep getting up and walking across the room to earn a seam or cut out fabrics and things of that nature. So making the space work for you can save time and energy for sure, which you can channel back into being creative as well. So once I did this, I felt a huge sense of relief. It's easier to focus when everything for me is organized and in its place. Plus, it just feels good to walk into a very tidy and neat space because your girl is a neat freak, and you guys know that, which I mentioned numerous of times on this channel. And honestly, you don't even realize how much that clutter is blocking your creativity until it's gone. So now, beyond tidying up everything, I wanted to make the space inspiring again. So for me, that meant adding an inspiration board with ideas for future projects. So you can add whatever inspires you. It could be a nice plant, artwork, maybe some frame pictures of your past projects if you like that. If it was something that you really enjoyed and you like, and now the pattern is out of print, that may be something that may encourage you to definitely sew. So what I did, it's all about creating a space where you actually want to spend time. So when your space is inspiring and functional, it's so much easier to get back into sewing. You start to look forward to sitting down at your sewing machine once again. So if you're feeling uninspired, overwhelmed, feeling plain stuck, I highly recommend starting with a good reorganization process. Trust me, it works wonders for clearing your mind for sure, body and soul, but also making space for new creativity. Now, it might take a few hours or even a whole day to get your space right, but it's totally worth it. I feel like it's totally worth it to get your sewing space back where you need it. So I want to say that's it for today's video. If you've been struggling with your sojo, give this a try, reorganize your space and see how it feels. I promise just making a few changes can really boost your creativity and motivation. So if you found this video to be educational, inspiring, encouraging, and fun, what are you doing? Give this video 2 thumbs up and, follow for more for sewing inspiration and tips. Let's keep this conversation going in the comment section below. Let me know, what do you do to get your sojo back? How do you reorganize your space? All right. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video where I am going to be sharing how you can find inspiration outside of your sewing room. So let's talk about it. Until next time, keep sewing.
Like what's good, these wigs getting split. Man better breeze than sprint. It's long if I choose to bite down on these pricks. X is a lyrical 4-4 of this, so make sure it's X that you wanna rally with. Oh, make a big man turn to a kid. Shout out skull when I splat out wigs. Never seeing X's with your eyes closed. Don't move past girls behind your eyelid. Bars and flows, check out their mixture. Tell them man can't handle the fix.